and let's roll out, roll out, roll out, roll out, let's roll out.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very special edition of Food, Fitness, and Fun. Of course, you know who I'm here with.
Sensei Dre, Sensei of Fitness, and a whole bunch of other things you ain't never heard of.
There it is. And so, just like always, we're gonna start with the same old shit. Food.
Let's do it.
And so, I've been in New Orleans, trying some different things, and Brother Dre took me to, what's it called?
Dat Dog.
Dat Dog. This is not sponsored. They did not pay us. But Dat Dog, if you see this, we accept payments. And so I did something I vowed I'd never do because, you know, when in Rome. And so I always felt like trying a vegan or vegetarian hot dog is dumb because just have the hot dog. But I said, all right, we're here, and they've got like mad vegetarian options. And so I tried one. So let me get my phone and tell y'all what the hell I had. And so you'll see it on the screen as per usual, but I had what's called the mexi-Cali, and that is vegan chipotle sausage, guacamole, pico de gallo, and chipotle mayo wrapped. I'm gonna do this because it's not really wrapped. It's more like sitting on top of romaine lettuce. And so that's what I had. And yeah, that was cool. It was my first time having that. And it was good. It was really flavorful. And yeah, it was surprisingly good. I mean, the lettuce was a little weird. I kind of used like a fork and a knife. I don't know how that would have went if I picked it up because it wasn't wrapped. It was just kind of sitting on a big ass piece of lettuce.
Yeah.
They didn't really do much about the wrapping part.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. So I used the fork and a knife and ate it more like a meal than a hot dog.
Yeah.
But it was very flavorful. I was impressed by how tasty it was. And it was a really cool establishment as well.
Yeah, Dat Dog is a dope place. If you ever get an opportunity, if you ever come to New Orleans, you should check out Dat Dog. Basically, think about hot dogs, sausages, on steroids, basically. And
it's like Cold Stone but hot dogs.
Yeah, and it's like unlimited toppings. You could put anything.
Oh, I
on
didn't even
there.
know that.
Yeah, so
I
you notice
added
when I said I was like, yo, let me put the sauerkraut on there. Let me put the jalapenos. I mean, I could have went to town, honestly.
Ah, okay, I didn't know that.
You could put as much stuff on there as so if you know, so if you ever feel like you want to go to Dat Dog again,
right?
What you saw on that, like the thing you just saw, was just like, this is our signature sort of moves, but you could have ordered that same thing and made it the way you wanted.
Oh, so yeah, so it really is kind of like a Cold Stone. Because at Cold Stone, it's like pay how you weigh.
Right.
If you want to put everything we got, it's going to be $77, but go ahead.
But that thing about Dat Dog is going to be the same price.
Ah.
Whether you put every piece of everything.
Oh, so you know who does that? Five Guys.
And Dat Dog.
Of course, I'm saying you know who else does that?
Okay.
Being a real McAsshole right now.
But yeah, the price doesn't change, I mean, like, so you just get what you want.
That's dope.
And you make it the way you want. So I usually try to get, because I don't really get an opportunity to eat a lot of sauerkraut and things like that, which is really, really good for you. Maybe in another episode we'll talk about
my hatred for sauerkraut
and why they're so like really beneficial health-wise for you. So when I go there, I'm like sauerkrauts or jalapenos and these kinds of things because I don't really get it that much, But
plus, if you like it and it's there, why not?
Yeah.
Health benefits or not, if you enjoy it and it's there, I mean,
absolutely,
might as well throw it on.
Absolutely, yeah. But I know I don't really get that on a daily basis.
Right.
And so anytime I can, I'm just like, let me get more of that.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I was going to say, so Five Guys does that. When you get a burger, there's like this list of toppings, and it's like, add all of them as much as you want. It's free. Yeah.
Right.
So that's what that made me think of. Yeah, Cold Stone is like, no, nigga, you got it's like $1 per topping or whatever.
Usually, I don't know why ice cream places are like that, but yeah, that is true. Some ice cream places, every time you add something, Pay me twice.
Pay me twice. Or buy a signature, which is why I tell people all the time. I know people who do customs. I'm like, you about to pay $22. Just get a fucking signature and change something. Because you could swap stuff. But anyway, this ain't a Cold Stone segment. All right, well, that's food. And so, yeah, that was a cool experience. First time being there. And like I said, really cool establishment. So, yeah, that was cool. Now let's transition to one of your favorite people on the internet.
One of my favorite people in the world.
Not just the internet.
Not just the internet,
in
bro.
the world.
Not just the internet, you know.
Okay, talk about it then.
I love her and I love to hate her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
you do.
And it's your girl Lizzo.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you noticed lately, she's been getting some buzz because she's been losing a lot.
I'm about to say a significant amount.
A lot of weight lately. We're not talking 5 pounds, 10 pounds. We're talking significant change.
Yep.
And if you go back to one of our really, really early episodes, and for those of you who maybe this might be your first time or you haven't listened, you should go back to some of our earlier episodes. There's an episode called Fake Fat Pride.
That's the one.
And there's a guy on there that is saying how...
Is a prophet on that episode? That's what you're saying?
Well, what this guy is saying is when people are fat and they're pretending like they love to be fat, that's fake. That's not real. Mm-hmm. That they're not being honest with themselves. And the point he used was when anyone loses a significant amount of weight, they never want to go back to that fat person they were.
Right.
And I believe at the time, you know, I was saying, you know, because if you look at Lizzo, a lot of her things she puts out there, things she posts on Instagram or Twitter or what have you, X, whatever, is how happy she was to be fat. And, you know, she would put out these like 5,000, 10,000 calorie breakfasts and get in the, you know, mirror and rub her belly and just like, I love you so much. I love being fat. And what that did was, she millions and millions of followers. So what that did was have people who sort of believed in that, or maybe if they didn't believe in it, reinforce that belief to say, hey, yeah, it's a good thing to be fat.
Right. And
it's a good thing to be obese, and we should just be happy and never change that, right? And, you know, as a person that's into fitness, it's like, that's incredibly unhealthy, and you're gonna have a lot of problems if you live that kind of lifestyle.
Yep.
So I was disappointed in that, you know what I'm saying? And I knew that you're not being honest, not just to those people, but you're not being honest with yourself.
Okay.
Ma'am, you don't want to be fat. And I knew it. And some people were just like, you don't know. She loves it. You don't understand. I'm like, no, she doesn't.
Right.
She doesn't. And now here we are, a few years later.
Yep.
And I feel like that person has been proven right.
That person named Dre?
And that person was Sensei Dre.
Yep.
The sensei of fitness. I know what I'm saying, man. People don't want to be fat. There's no way you want to be fat. And when you start losing weight, everyone says the same thing. I'm never going back to that person I used to be.
Right.
Psychologically, it's depressing. You know, not being able to tie your shoes or some sort of physical incapabilities you might have, you know what I'm saying? So I know that, you know, we all do. You know, we've all been bigger and gotten smaller. I'm like, man, I feel way better now that I'm not that fatter version. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I want to take this time to be like, hey, you know, I'm proud of Lizzo for losing the weight.
Okay.
I'm also proud of her for putting it out there in a celebratory way to say, hey, you know, this is a thing. Now, she might lose a portion of her audience who feels like, hey, wait a minute, girl.
Yes.
We supposed to love being fat.
Yes.
Why are you so happy to lose weight? And she's gonna have to deal with that. And I hope she deals with that just as honestly and just as, openly, and said, she don't have to use these words, but to be like, hey, I recognize that I did say that, but psychologically, I was depressed. And I was trying, some sort of coping mechanism to get through it, because I didn't want to deal with the reality that was before me. Mm-hmm. So I just did this sort of like fat acceptance. Okay. But the truth of the matter is, I wasn't really happy back then. And this makes me feel better. Or some sort of version like that. But she needs to be just as candid with her audience, because you did say those things. You did post those things, mm-hmm. And so I don't, follow her on a daily basis, but I'm
you
hoping
keep an eye out.
Every now and then when I see something, I'm like, okay, let's see what's going on with Lizzo, right. Because I also gave her credit for
the show.
What was it called?
It was called Watch Out for the Big Girls.
Watch out for the big girls.
Oh no, that was the catchphrase. I don't remember what the show was called.
It was something about big girls. Look out for
Lizzo,
the big girls.
Something, yeah, I don't remember.
Lizzo, look out for the big girls. Somebody look out for
like
whatever it was called. But I gave her credit
for
that.
That was the byline. So
but I gave her credit for that because what was it? It was women dancing. Yeah. What's dancing? Exercise. So I'm like, I actually like the fact that you are having, a diversity of women who are a little bit bigger. They're not sitting there eating, cheese doodles and tacos and crazy. They're actually exercising. Yeah. So, and this is what I was saying, and I still feel that way. It's like, fat acceptance should be, this is the way I am today, but I'm going to make choices to be different tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That is what fat acceptance should not be. This is the way I am. This is the way I'm going to always be. Pass me the ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, because me, that's more of a defeatist position than anything. Everybody starts with step one. Mm-hmm. The longest journey starts with step one. Correct. Right? You talk to someone who's like, yo, I walked 1,000 miles. Well, how'd you start? Step one. You see what I'm saying? So never feel like something gets too big. You just got to go day by day, piece by piece. And so I'm just hoping, like I said, with this weight loss, once again, I am proud of her. I'm just hoping that she's just as open, just as candid, and says, hey, this is what I was going through at the time. Now, I don't know, maybe have you heard any of her audience angry with her for not fully accepting the fat acceptance?
As we've stated before, Lizzo is and has always been one of the body positivity champions or ambassadors, whatever you view it as. But she's kind of one of the people who has been waving that flag for a very long time. And so, there is a big portion of her audience who is going to have, negative things to say anytime she loses weight, because it's like, well, you're the body positivity champion, ambassador, whatever, and here you are losing weight. What happened? And so, there's backlash. Part of it is also because she said, when the post came up, the post is her saying, I'm taking a year break from music to work on myself and my peace. And so that's what she's saying. She's taking a vacation from both things, from all those things. And so that's part of the pictures that we'll put on the screen of her in this new, slimmer look in her bikini. And so, people are upset, but I think it's going to be short-lived. I don't think Lizzo is going to get tiny. I said this the last time we brought up Lizzo. I think today the brand of Lizzo is tied to being a plus size person. Mm-hmm. She launched a couple of months ago a bikini line for bigger women. Mm-hmm. It's a plus size bikini line. Mm-hmm. She has The Show, which is an Amazon award, an Amazon show which won an Emmy. They're going to bring back The Show. Maybe they got to wait for those lawsuits to clear up or something. Yeah. But I'm confident that at some point that show's coming back. Amazon is not going to just let a award-winning show die out. And so, same thing I said last time, I think too much of Lizzo is tied to this movement contractually. I think too much of her business is tied to being plus size, helping the plus size audience have access to more things, whether that is, hey, I'm gonna have plus size dancers and give you opportunities, or here's my plus size clothing line or whatever. I mean, she could even launch today a plus size fitness line, but I don't think it's gonna be some shit for regular size women. I think it's gonna be, once again, plus size. Plus size is tied to the brand of Lizzo. And so I don't think Lizzo's gonna become some twig or a pencil or super slim person. Yeah, I think Lizzo could lose weight and get backlash or get positive feedback. But I also think, based on her contractual obligations, Lizzo could only be a certain size without having problems legally.
Let's get something clear. One, she'll never be twig. Lizzo will never wear size 0. I completely understand that. Mm-hmm. However, plus size, in a sense, is sort of ambiguous, especially if you look at like women of color bodies, right? Okay. So in terms of like European standards, most black women or women of color would be plus size anyway. And I'm talking about healthy women who are not super fat.
I get what you're saying, a size 12
or way lower, right? So it's like I'm thinking of, what's her name, Hudson?
Jennifer Hudson.
Jennifer Hudson, right? Remember Jennifer was like super duper big? Now, Jennifer Hudson, you look at her and it's like, oh, she looks fine. She looks great, right? Now, she's not super skinny. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So she might wear something that's, I don't know if you would consider it plus size or whatever. I don't want to get caught up in the actual semantics of it, but she's not wearing bikinis fit for like tiny people.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So I think Lizzo will be okay with that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think so.
And the other thing I feel like is like, look, she might have contractual obligations. She might have the brand and anything like that. The question is she willing to sacrifice all that for her health?
That's a good question.
Now, have you seen the actor Batista lately? Mm-hmm. And you see how much he slimmed down? Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's sort of the same thing when I hear her say things like my peace and wellness and things like that. It's like, I need to get to a point. I need this to be more about me and less about whatever this thing is. Okay. You see what I'm saying? And so if someone or some company is like, well, you owe us X amount of dollars because we wanted you to stay fat. Because I'm sure she could still sell plus size this and plus size that and plus size. But if you're saying, well, in order to do that, you have to stay like super duper fat, she's gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But
I don't think
I still think she will always support women and their journey to being healthier.
I think Lizzo is in a weird spot today. Mm-hmm. Same thing I said last time we discussed this. I think today, because of all of the contractual obligations, where she can go has a cap. Yes, if she comes down and is a size 12 or 10, whatever is considered the bare minimum of plus size, she'll be technically plus size. But that is not the Lizzo brand. That is not the Lizzo image. And so she is at a point, in my opinion, where she is going to have to be cautious with those contractual obligations. Now, if we're talking about outside of business and just health, Lizzo should lose all the weight. Lizzo should focus on her health and her longevity, like we all should. It should be about living longer and living healthier. I think that's the real conversation, but not so simple for Lizzo. There are plenty of other celebrities who can do that and have no backlash, no consequences, because they're just, you was taking steroids and you stopped. All right, but you still fit. All right, so it's all good. You know, you just can't be Goggins slim. And actually, Goggins is not really that slim, but you can't be a pencil, right? It's like you can't go from the big steroids, The Rock, to this little skinny, you know, Rey Mysterio Jr. kind of guy.
Right.
So cool, but it's not tied to the brand. Certain people, it's different, right? Batista is not The Rock. If The Rock changes his look that dramatically today, there are going to be some consequences. Now, The Rock is a huge star, bigger than Lizzo, bigger than Batista, bigger than most people. And so, yeah, he has more wiggle room. His rebrand would be easier because it's not necessarily 100% tied to the image and the branding of The Rock. Like, The Rock has a shampoo line that don't got nothing to do with being a big, bulky steroid user. Like, that's not, it's a whole separate thing. But it's so specific for Lizzo. I think that is the challenge, where it's like, maybe you just got to be ready to lose that bread, which is what I said last time, right? It's like,
and I agree with that.
If Amazon is like, hey, excuse me, you got to be around 185, 200 to still be able to do this contract. Maybe you say, oh, fuck you, Amazon. I'm going to take the loss.
And that's exactly
Give me
what
the
I'm
penalty.
saying. Yeah.
Sure, but what I'm saying is, then that's what you need to be prepared for if that's the journey, right? And so I think that's why I'm saying a crossroad. Do I, as a fan of black women, as a person who just cares about our health as a community, want Lizzo to be healthy and lose the weight and get rid of any ailments that she may or may not have, or maybe, you know, on the line, teetering the line of getting? Of course, I want her to be a long, living, healthy, happy person. But I also understand the business side. And so my thing is, that's why I say crossroad, because it may come to that. It may come to the brand that you are, quote unquote, behind, coming to you and saying, hey, we had a board of directors meeting and you can't be the ambassador anymore for the plus size bikinis. We got to go get Ashley Graham or somebody because you've lost too much weight. And then, you know, you're going to have to make decisions.
Right.
And so I think that's the crossroad.
Yeah.
She should do what is best for her.
Right.
But I think, and this is, you know, it's a circle, because I think with Lizzo, it's tied so much to who she is to the public, to the people who help pay her bills, right? The fans coming to the concerts, the people buying the bikinis, all of these things, the people watching the show, the people competing to be in the show. All of these people are looking at Lizzo like, you are a person who tells us to embrace this thing. And so now doing the opposite is going to have some consequences.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I agree, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that when I hear her say things like, I'm taking a year off, I'm putting me first, my wellness, that sounds like cold. Like, yo, I don't care what I have to sacrifice. I have to put me first.
I think
not
time
this
will tell.
deal, not this. Of course, time will tell.
Because a lot of that should be lip service.
Yeah, I feel that too, and it's nothing like when bills come. But you know what I mean? I feel like, yo, she already knows that side already, right? She already knows how it is to be big and to be rich and to be accepted in the deposit. What she doesn't know, what's the unknown, what's attracting her right now is she sees this smaller woman coming out. She sees this healthier woman coming out. And she wants to put money and resources and time to watch this person blossom. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we all want to do. Mm-hmm. The other thing I feel like, you know, I just want to mention really quick, and you can say your opinion on it. It's like, well, how did she get there, right? Because I feel like
Get where?
To where she is now, like to place where she.
You mean the size or the mentality?
The size, and of course the mentality is attached to that.
Okay.
But because I just want to say, like, these things don't happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you do have to say to yourself, okay, the time is now. I'm going to do this thing. Mm-hmm. And perhaps push certain things aside, right? Whatever you felt was getting in your way, whether that is your IG or your Amazon or your or whoever, you know, the haters or whatever. It's
Maybe touring. Maybe touring so much is increasing the poor diet. Who knows?
Yeah, because what we saw is a video of her seems to be like out in
like nature. She's in
nature,
like
a forest, a
yeah.
cabin, like away, and just reattaching herself to the earth, right? We call it earthing.
Yep.
You know, getting back to like this primal way of just like existing. And sometimes when you're out there amongst nature, away from all the noise, all the magnetism, you get a different sense of things, and you say, what's really important right now?
Yeah.
And so I'm mentioning that to be like, to everyone out who is on their journey, a lot of times you gotta take things away in order to get to where you want to go. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
It might be people, places, things, or a combination
I'm
of
about to say,
stuff.
or all of the above.
Yeah, a combination of things where it's just like, I need to, in order for me to get something, I have to let go of something else.
Yeah. A lot of times that's the journey. The journey is, hey, I come up here all the time and say ice cream addict. Well, yeah, if I want to get to, let's just say, Goggins' body in a year or however long, the ice cream has to decrease and maybe even stop, you know? Hey, no ice cream until I get to a certain point, you know, or whatever. No sugar until you get to a certain point. That's the larger conversation. And so, I think that a lot. I think a lot of times to get to where you want to go, you kind of got to let things go where you're at. It's like, well, I'm trying to get over there, but you can't do that carrying the same things you're carrying currently.
Right.
So it's like, let me drop off some of this unnecessary shit, or let me get around this thing that's a roadblock right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's this person, place, or thing, or all of the above that's kind of halting me. All right, well, let me see how I can maneuver around all of that.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And sometimes it means like moving your headspace somewhere else, moving your location somewhere else, you know. I've heard, I have a client now that was just like, man, when I was in New York, it was crazy. I was gaining crazy weight. And man, when I moved here, it's like I lost 10 pounds. I didn't even notice it. You know, it's just like sometimes you can be in these high stressful environments and your cortisol levels are constantly high.
Right.
And you don't realize it because you're doing it every day. But then once you move a location and your cortisol gets to come down and your body can just relax for a second, you will start seeing like
and that's part of the Lizzo thing too.
Yeah, a lot of improvements. Weight loss being one of them, but numerous improvements in the body.
And that's part of the Lizzo thing. Last thing I'll say is she's saying I need less stress for a little bit.
Yes, sir.
And so I think that's a part of the conversation as well.
Right. All right. So you want to segue to our?
I mean, we gotta talk about the next piece. You know, there's a trend that's been going on for probably a year or so now online. Yeah. And I asked you about it randomly earlier, and you were like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
And so.
See my face right now.
Yeah, and I also remember your reaction earlier. But so there's this thing about having a big back, right? And so many people have said that. Charlemagne even said that about someone on the Breakfast Club. He's an asshole, but that's another conversation. And so the new thing for a while, probably a year or so now, has been quote unquote unbigging your back. And so when your back is big and you've got excess fat, you want to get rid of it from your back. You want to quote unquote unbig your back. And so you learned about this today. What are your thoughts? This is our fun topic, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I think it's stupid, but I understand it. So I say I think it's stupid because it's just there's always some new terminology to describe something basic. And we're talking about just being overweight, being obese, if you want to use the medical term.
Right.
But it's like, that's all it is, So I get that when now people are saying you have a big back, that is sort of a euphemism of saying you're fat. Right. Because there's no way you have a big back without having a big stomach, without having a big arms or something, wherever your fat is, you know what I'm saying? So you have body fat. You have a total amount of body fat.
A large amount of body
fat. Yeah. I mean, because it's like some people have, you have a big back and you have big calves, and I don't mean the calf muscles. I mean all the fat that's around where the calves would be if we could see them.
If we could see them, right.
You know, if you didn't have all that fat around it. So I think, yeah, maybe it started as a joke, but I see the humor in it because I think that's why people are saying it. But I feel it's stupid because why? You know what I mean? Like, why are you using that term like it's a real thing? You know,
It is now.
If your back is fat, it's because you have a lot of body fat and it's not that one part. So you don't need to unbig your back. I mean, unbig your back. You need to unbig your entire fucking body.
Body, right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that being said, we know we can't spot reduce fat anyway. Right? So if you want to call it unbigging your back because you think it's funny or it's trending right now, I guess it's okay. But in terms of your mindset, you need to be saying, I'm going to unbig my entire self.
Yeah.
You know? And unbig to me sounds dumb. Like that's not a word. I don't want that to turn into a word. Unbigging something. You know what I mean? It's stupid, you know? So that's not a word. It's not a thing you could do. You don't unbig something. You make something smaller, but you don't unbig it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, my bank account was big. Who unbigged my bank account? No.
The rent.
You know what I mean? Like,
The rent unbigged my bank account.
Right. So now we're all just going to sound like idiots walking around saying idiot things?
Yes.
No, I can't be part of that, and I can't be part of that lexicon. Sorry. I'm just going to be like, you want to get smaller. You don't want to be, I'm not going to use a dumb word like unbig because that's not a word. I'll just say you want to get smaller. You want to be a smaller version of yourself? Great. You know, there are videos and information and things like that to help you get into a calorie deficit so you could be a smaller version of yourself.
Okay.
You know, because you know what? You know what's the reason because things become words and people think that they're really words. So I'm in education, so I'll talk to some kid that's 12 years old and can you unbig? And I'm like, no, stop. See, this is the problem.
Yes.
Y'all been saying this word so long and they're typing it so long, they actually think it's a word because no one has stopped and be like, we're all just joking, right? Like that's not a real thing.
You know, this is what happens with terminology and internet slang, internet lingo. I'm on the other side. I think this is something that we talk about all the time. This podcast exists because people want to unbig their back. I think, yes, it's a dumb term. It's a silly thing to say, but let's have a deeper conversation, right? This is promoting what?
Weight loss.
Health and wellness. That's what this podcast is all about.
And that's the part I like.
If you had to scroll through TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram and see all these videos that said, I'm going to unbig my back. Here's how I unbig my back. My back was too big and I needed to unbig it. Hey, if that's what it took to get you in the gym, I'm okay with that. If that's what it took to get you to go to your cabinet in the kitchen and say, let's throw away these bonbons and these Doritos and all the shit that you like and go in the freezer and throw out the Ben & Jerry's and the Haagen-Dazs and all of that. If unbig my back is what got you there, I'm okay with that because now you are health conscious.
That's true.
Now you are aiming to be healthier.
That's true.
You are aiming to be stronger.
Right.
All the things that this podcast exists for. In fact, I wish we thought of it first. I wish that we thought of it first and this was the Unbig Your Back podcast because, man, could you imagine how fly we would have been right now?
I'm not going to sound like an idiot so I can get more views. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm being,
you know what I mean?
Silly.
Like, because all I'm saying is all those things I agree with, but then what I don't want you to do is go and write a report on how I unbigged, and like you're actually using words. Like, no,
Right.
You sound like an idiot, and you're going to go into normal conversations, that's not about laughter or entertainment, and stand up and talk this way.
Yes.
And when people look at you like, this person must be an idiot. You're going to think that, well, what did I say? What did I do? You know, it's like, wait, so you're joking, right? When you use the word unbig, like, are you joking? No, that's what I did. I unbigged. And people are going to be, wait, hold on. Because
I think our audience is smart enough to know that balance is key in vocabulary. And yes, if you walk around saying WAP and unbig all the time, yeah, you probably are going to be viewed a certain way. People are probably going to think you have a lower IQ than some of the other people, or perhaps that you're somewhere on the spectrum and don't understand that these euphemisms are not real words. But I think if the euphemism is recognized as a euphemism, as some internet slang, and that is the push you needed,
okay,
then I'm cool with that.
You can call it whatever the fuck you want to call it.
If you grinding, you grinding.
Let's go through our fat euphemism. So now all we did was add a new one.
Yeah.
But this is like a fat reversal because you're not talking about fat, you're saying unbig, which is basically a euphemism for being fat. But
yes,
it's basically saying I want to be smaller.
Yes.
But I'm fat. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got fat, which people don't like to use.
Right.
And then, you know, for a while people call themselves big boned.
Yeah. Right? That's my favorite. I fucking hate that term. Our bones are all the same. Please stop saying you're big boned. You're not big boned.
How to have smaller bones. I mean, I'm gonna create a workout so you can have smaller bones.
There you go.
What? You know what I'm saying?
You gotta do the Sensei Dre presents get rid of being big boned or something, you know? No more big boned workout. You know what I mean?
Pleasantly plump.
Pleasantly plump. That's some old
That's
school
another
shit,
one.
but that's
I'm
yep.
trying to think of some on the top of my head here.
Yep, that's a good one.
But it's, you know, so throughout
thick with 2 C's. Can't
thick.
That's
you know,
I like that.
You know,
one.
I'm thick. She's healthy. Remember, it's called big women healthy. Oh
yes,
man,
I never liked that one.
You know, I'm not skinny like you. You know, I'm a little healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You mean by being obese? Yeah. So as I'm saying, throughout the years, you just keep hearing these euphemisms for fat. Yeah. Okay. The only one I really enjoyed, I think we said this on the pod before, was when fat people were just like, let's stop using euphemisms. Let's call each other fat. And, you know.
It was the fat acceptance.
Yeah, the fat acceptance movement. Like, you know, just stop using all those, and it's fat. Okay, you're fat, I'm fat, we're fat.
That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I say that all the time. I'm like, I'm fat, I eat ice cream.
If you don't.
I don't work out enough, I'm fat.
And it's the only thing, because it's like, listen, God forbid if, you know, someone catches cancer. You call it cancer. You don't call it some other thing. You know, I got the thing. You said, no, I have cancer. And
it's not true. We do call diabetes sugar.
Yeah, that's...
Plenty of people say, hey, you know JD got that sugar.
Yeah, and how do they sound to you?
Like, I always think it's funny.
They sound like idiots, though, when they say you have sugar. You say, okay, you're not well educated.
You got that sugar.
Yeah, that sounds like a person that's not really all that well educated when they use those kind of terms.
It's euphemism.
I dig it.
I think when you use euphemisms, and I say this when I worked with kids, I would say this to my students. I say this to my teenager all the time now. Use whatever silly and fun words you like, but also know the real fucking thing.
Okay,
and
now
so
we're talking.
I think that's okay. We call each other son. It was Dunny and all these other.
Oh, sure.
We all use euphemisms and slang terms, and
that's what I said.
I think that's okay. But read a book and also understand that you can't walk around. You can't walk into a job interview and be like, yo, motherfucker, what up, son? I'm just trying to see if maybe y'all motherfuckers got like some kind of job opening for a nigga because I'm trying to get the bag. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
That you can't just talk like that all the time.
And that being said, it's like, so when you say, okay, you're unbigging your bag, and in the same sort of thing, it's like, I really don't care what you call it.
Okay.
You know, whatever words you want to use, you know, I'm going to un-Oreo myself. Okay. That's what you need to do. You know what I mean?
I need to
whatever if you want to just put in front of something that you shouldn't be doing.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
That's what's going to get it done.
Right. I'm gonna uncocaine now because
definitely uncocaine. If you are watching this, you should definitely uncocaine.
You know what I mean? Like is that what we do? We just gonna put in front of everything? Okay, that's cool. I agree with you. Whatever terminology you need to get it in gear, use it. You know what I mean? But I'm choosing not to use that particular thing because I just, like you said, I just like to be realistic. If you're fat and you want to get smaller, okay, I'm trying to get smaller. And I also like words that's positive affirmation. You know what I mean? When someone's like, I want a better version of myself, I want a healthier version of myself. To me, I feel like those words drive you.
Okay.
I don't feel like unbigging is a driving term for me. Now, maybe for other people, saying unbig gets them in gear. And if saying unbig gets you in gear, yo, unbig the hell out of yourself. You know what I mean? Whatever gets you in gear, use that shit. I love it.
I just think, listen, we've seen a lot of trends. We spoke about water talk. We spoke about a lot of trends.
Right.
And not many of them were health conscious. Not many of them were helping people. And so if this is the trend that helps people, man, go for it. That's how I feel. Like, you know, go get it. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, if that's what's waking you up every day and you're saying, I looked in the mirror and, man, I'm big as shit. I'm going to go get on the treadmill and unbig myself. All right, listen, you got on the treadmill every day. I didn't. I'm sitting here plus size right now.
And you unbigging your back.
Right.
And it's like, well, while you're unbigging your back, can you unbig your stomach and arms?
Of course. But that's what it means. That's what it means. That's the euphemism. But the focus is the back, right? Because people for whatever reason, people are like, man, it's a big back. But yeah, of course, you also got big thighs, big stomach, whatever, double chin, whatever thing you've got.
And even that terminology of big, that's another way. Oh, you know, I'm big this and big that. And it's like, that just means fat.
Yeah,
you know?
and
because you can look at a bodybuilder that's, you know, big,
right? But
he has a body fat that's 5%. So, you know,
that's because he takes big steroids.
Oh, sure.
You know what I'm saying? But he needs to unsteroid.
But he's still big. But it's like, it's not.
No, it's another slang term, another euphemism, all of the above. And I think that's fine. I think balance is key. Like I said, if you can't just walk around saying, you know, I got that sugar. You got something to help me. I got that sugar. It's like, what? What does that even mean? Are you saying you're sweet? What is? And sweet is a euphemism. So it's like, I don't even know. You can't just talk in euphemisms and slang 24/7. It's not, or I should say, not that you can't. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But it's not a good idea, in my opinion. I think balance is key. But again, if that's what gets you to the gym, if that's what makes you take the walk every morning or whatever it is you do,
I agree.
Take the yoga class or whatever, everyone likes different things.
Yeah.
If that's what's getting you off the fucking couch and into that class or out in the streets, man, call it
if it's going to have you replace those bag of chips with some carrots or something,
there it is.
Unbig away.
Yeah. There's plenty of shitty trends that have to do with consumption and health. I think this one's a good one.
All right.
That's it. We're out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been our show. We'll see y'all another time.
Deuces.